Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of the From Nothing series. So, just to recap, last episode, 0 gold, 0 items. Now I've been gold farming for a couple days, stats are trained up to 250s. Currently we're running a strength, endurance, luck build. I'd love to try out charisma soon, but as you can see from my inventory, no pets, no guests. What we do have is Essence Orb, Chieftain's Ironthorn, Retro Golden Shield, Retro Golden Plate, and the basic adventurer, no drop. Now, last episode I left off with a little teaser of grabbing the Retro Golden Armor instead of what you might have expected for a upcoming Backlash strategy, the Retro Nightmare Armor. Now, the reason for this is pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab a fight with an undead monster and show you why we've gone with this armor and shield combo. To grab an undead fight, we're going to be going to Darkovia, Battlegrounds, and you can grab an undead fight anywhere. Just doing this for an example. I believe it's War for the Fangs here. To battle. We've got here is an undead archer. Now look at my dark resistance, 90%. I'll attack one turn, and hopefully this thing doesn't one-shot me. I'm taking 300 damage, so very significant amount of damage. However, once I equip the Retro Golden Shield, you see that damage drops to peanuts. That is because when you have the Retro Golden Shield and the Retro Golden Armor equipped, all undead attacks deal damage as though they were targeting your light resistance. Now, this also works for the shield alone, where the undead monster attacks your shield's light resistance, but your armor's dark resistance. But because they're the same set, together they work together and you get the full benefit. So what I'm saying is the real benefit of grabbing Retro Golden Plate is now, instead of having armors of 2 elements, my Student's Robe, which is neutral, and my Retro Golden Plate, which is light with minor wind and energy compression, now I can compress a ton of elements as long as the quest I'm fighting in is against undead. So that's the plan, and now we're going to show you the roadmap. First up, I decided to pick a map from another game I love. You might have seen the RuneScape Banker, and now you're seeing the Stick War map. Good times back in the day. But you can see our first stop is going to be the 10th Anniversary Dracolich quest, the Undead Assault quest. Now the reason for this is pretty simple. We're going to be able to get a healing pet, and there's only one difficult fight, which is the level 141 boss. And of course he's undead, so we can use Retro Golden to neutralize that danger. Next up, we're going to be moving on to another quest, which is War of the Fangs Evolution, and we'll get a certain weapon from there that you might like to see. You might have some interesting thoughts about that, but I'll wait to spoil it there. But that quest, you'll see that we have to fight a vampire and a werewolf, but I've done some testing. We should be okay against the werewolf with just our 36 earth resistance and our no drop armor. Should be. Crossing my fingers. Next up, after that, we have some shenanigans to ensue. So I'll leave you here on the roadmap for now, and I'll get started on the 10th anniversary. So I think what's going to happen is, okay, I have done it on this quest, on this character, awesome. I wasn't sure if I'd done the intro quest or not, but I have, which just saved me some time. And we're going to go straight into the Undead Assault. Alright, I'm going to do some voice acting here. Feel free to let me know if you like me reading out the quests or don't like it. Greetings and salutations. Thank goodness you are here. We need your help. What the? Where am I? Whoa, look at this really old town art. Scratch that. When am I? Is this how it looked in like 2004? I wouldn't know, I wasn't there. A huge army of evil undead is attacking the town. You, my friend, are one of the last defenders protecting the town. Protecting town. Is that correct grammar? I guess so. Look out, an undead knight. So luckily, these monsters, the first 4 monsters you fight are all level 1. So, that doesn't really pose any threat. The situation is grim. Each ally that falls in battle rises from the dead and adds to their army. Makes sense. Undead. Retreat. The undead have breached the tower. They got one eye. Wait. One eye is getting back. OMG. No. One dead. Is this a unique monster? Is this the only time we fight him? You know, I don't remember. Beats me. But yeah, these first 4 fights are just going to be filler, and then the boss fight. You'll see what happens. Psst, New Age Warrior, over here, Bean Twilly. Jesus Christ, man. Sorry, I shouldn't. Who are you? I'm Twilly. By the gods, Twilly? No, it can't be. What happened to you? You look like a giant lima bean with troll hair and... What the? Are you wearing sneakers? No, Twilly's fine. This is what Twilly looked like 10 years ago. Well, now. Magical time paradoxes are sorta confusing. Hey, wait. This is still a fantasy world. How would you even know what sneakers are? Can I just answer with magical time paradoxes are confusing? They should use this to explain the variety of AQ lore that makes absolutely no sense and just push it under the couch, you know? Now seriously, how did you go from looking like a jelly bean to the Twilly I know now? Our artists got a lot better. If you're noticing, you traveled back in time 10 years to an old battle and a historical event known as the Undead Invasion. This is not just any war, this was the very first war ever. One started them all. I actually forgot that. Very cool. That explains why these monsters are such pushovers. Oh, hang on. Twilly, we have a limper. Undead wounded. One dead wounded. That's kind of funny. Oh, and this is the retro version. I did love these skeleton art back in the day, and I still do today. I think the simplisticness of it really is appealing. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. The town's walls are not holding any of the undead forces back. This town doesn't have any walls. That explains a lot. Wait, do you hear that? Hear what? Ooh, that sounds like a giant. Maybe the giants have come to help us battle the undead. I don't think that joke was funny 12 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm gonna be honest. I think that was never funny. Sorry, Twilly, but sorry, Artix, whoever wrote that dialogue. It holds up okay, I think this quest does. Alright, well fought. Now just a few thousand undead left to go. Thousands, but the war meter says 4 out of 5. Oh, that war meter is bugged. All the stuff from 10 years ago was pretty broken. Now this is a funny joke. That's quite humorous. Oh man. Whew. Oh man, some things never change. Some things never change. I'm pretty sure this game was held together with duct tape and super glue. Oh, well, in that case, Artix, you take the few thousand on the left, I'll take the few thousand on the right. I really like the way you think. Battle on. Oh, we've got one more. Okay, I think after this is the boss. Also, you may have noticed my longsword is hitting with random elements. When you use adventure no drops on a guardian, that's just what happens if they're aligned to neutral. You would think they would default to earth, but no, they're random element. Maybe there is a faster way to end this. Twilly, what else do you remember from the Undead Invasion? There were less than 10,000 heroes in our world total. There were a lot of crashes. The most dangerous thing was probably the puns. Alright, I can get behind that. So why was I sent here then? Wait, did Yukara say the Eternal Dragon of Time was going to grow ahead from each major villain defeated? Twilly, who was the villain behind this first war? Great question. Why not ask your undead-slaying, obsessed wasabi-loving paladin friend over here? You know, I didn't know that the Artix, the guy, likes wasabi, but that explains why there's a paladin trigger item like Divine Wasabi. Gives you like 10 HP per turn. It's not good, but I was using it for nefarious purposes, perhaps. Secret tech. Anyways, ignore that. New Age Warrior, we just got reports that a huge undead dragon is commanding the army. Ooh, a Dracolich. You are way too excited about the prospect of fighting a Dracolich, but I've never gotten to battle a Dracolich before. This will be my very first one. Oh wow, this was Artix's first time fighting an undead dragon. This would have been a very special moment. Maybe we should team up. Bring Artix. So, guests just got nerfed for 0 charisma in the stat revamp, but I don't really have anything to spend my SP on otherwise, so I will bring Artix. He'll be better than nothing. The Dracolich is attacking, look out. And rip Bean Twilly. Normal difficulty. I don't know if the easy fight gets you the item shop, but either way. be less cheesy with the normal difficulty. Okay, and so this is how a lot of our fights are going to go in the beginning of the series. We're just going to be hitting attack. Let's see how much SP he costs in the battle log. If he costs 86, then we'll know he wasn't updated. $84 SP, what the heck? Oh, it's because he's fighting an undead. Or is it because I'm a paladin? Oh, you know what? So, I'll just, while I click attack, because it's going to get pretty boring, I'll tell you about some history. They made a bunch of temporary paladin guests for all, you know, the undead quests, the lore, etc. And a lot of them had SP discounts for when you were fighting undead, or for when you were fighting undead and your title was paladin. So I'm actually not quite sure if this Artix guest isn't on the new standard because he would cost 118 SP, or if it's just because we're fighting an undead and my class title is paladin. So it could be that he is bugged to cost too little, or it could be that he is performing correctly and he has an undead trigger. I'm sure I could find out by looking at the info subs, but I can't be bothered. I'll just bring it into a combat practice trainer fight next turn, maybe change my title off paladin and see if that changes anything. But in the meantime, I'm going to speed up the rest of this footage for your viewing pleasure. Okay, I paused instead of turning the mic on, so you might have seen a tiny cut, but we're back. We beat the boss, victory, continue, and here is what we came for. Retro Twilly. Okay, so Twillies may make sure to keep you healed as much as he can. Twillies can also do a stronger heal every so often, Guardian only. I didn't realize that this pet was a Guardian MC, and Adventure not MC. Cool. Oh, never mind. I misread that. It's Guardian only because it's level 141. Silly me. But this is the guy, and I hate to break it to you guys. If you hate the art of this guy, we are going to be running him pretty much all the time for at least 3 days. He simply heals you. That's all he does. And you might be thinking, Grace, isn't there a fairy godmother in the Battleon town, in the Guardian Tower? Isn't that just objectively better? Retro Twilly? Well, yes. Fairy Godmother has damage, HP, and MP, and while I don't think I'm going to be training much int, I might train 50 or so to use guests better. We'll see. But either way, Fairy Godmother would have been a more optimal and stronger choice. But the thing is, there's a lot of really optimal gear in the Battleon shops and in the Guardian Tower and in the Ballyhoo contests now that we have the Heroic Titan and the Myrmidon set. If I just went around gathering gear from there, I think the series would be pretty boring. So I'm trying to do quests and actually, you know, go up against monsters to get my items. I'll still buy a couple from these shops, like there are some I needed, like Essence Orb, Chieftain's Ironthorn, Retro Golden, and there's a couple of really good items that I'll want anyways. But for the most part, I'm going to be trying to do quests to unlock items, even if those items are a little bit less than what I might be able to get in these shops. So next up, we're going to be doing War of the Fangs Evolution. Now, I could do this with my same longsword weapon, but instead I am going to grab the Gauntlet of the Gallon because I think that the werewolf fight especially is going to push me a little bit in terms of the difficulty that I have with my limited gear. Oh, and while we're here, let's quickly change my title. Class Quests, Mage Quest. And we're just doing this to test out the Artix guest to see if it's been updated or not. Become a mage. You passed your first test, Junior Mage. Okay, awesome. Combat practice trainer. Let's see. But yeah, so now I've got the fire weapon that I'm going to be using against the vampire. And let's see how much SP this costs for Artix to attack. 126. So he was updated to the modern standard. And he seems to actually have a down trigger on his SP cost. if you aren't a paladin or aren't fighting undead. I think it's the paladin title, but it could be the undead thing, or it could be a combination of both. But anyways, now we're going to Darkovia Forest, Battlegrounds, and Evolution. Now, here's the thing with this quest, and you'll see it in a minute, but first I'll read the dialogue. Ah, you're here. Have you finally found it then? Yes, sir. It took some hunting, but we found the cave we were looking for. It's deep underneath the mountains to the north. It's rather remarkable we didn't find it sooner. After all, the location of the cure has been known for many years, but the source has eluded us until now. We need to send our forces to take control of the site immediately. That green sludge has long been used by traders to cure their lycanthropy and switch sides. But I have another idea in mind. If we adjust its mutative properties right, we might be able to use it to enhance our lycanthropic powers even more. And what of the vampire clan? Do you honestly think we're going to give this power to our enemies? Send our forces, but be quiet about it. What? Why are you here? Oh, come now, Constantine. Do you think that flea-bitten mongrels can keep any secrets from us? A little doggy told me that you found the source of the cure. That's not bad. That's not a bad little, written joke. Also, Saphira back in the day. Not what she used to be. And how you plan to use it? You didn't think to invite us? I'm hurt. Truly I am. You would do the same thing in our position, and you know it. Well, yes, but I wouldn't make the mistake of letting you find out. If we're ever to become powerful enough to challenge the growing threat of Dracopyres, we need to evolve. And if I can eliminate an old rival in the process, all the better. That sounds suspiciously like a declaration of war to me. Very well, we will humor you. And when you lose, don't you worry, we will take care of the Dracopyres for you. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is joining the vampires. And we could do it either way, but I think this one will be a little faster. And you might notice we already have access to the shop you get for winning the war. And if I go back, return to camp, and join the werewolves, again, we already have access to the shop. But in the same spirit of not wanting to buy everything just from shops that don't have quests, I want to actually beat the two bosses of this quest first. So this is going to be our setup. Artix, he's not a great way to spend SP, but I don't really have much else. Retro Twilly, only pet I have. Earth Shield is going to come in huge for me. And of course a fire weapon for this werewolf. Now his resistances are a lot worse all around than fire, but depending on how much HP I have left, I probably would have been able to do it with the random element longsword, but I didn't want to take that chance. Also, I forgot to toggle on Chieftain's Ironthorn. Let's do that next. But aside from that, this is just going to be a clicking attack fight, so I will speed it up for you. And then I'll come back in when we fight the vampire. Okay, so we definitely took a lot more damage. I'm hurting from not having an earth armor, and I think without the fire weapon, I definitely would have had to drink a health potion or two. But we made it, and now we're on to Victor, who should be much, much easier now that we have a fully defensive armor that protects against undead. And of course, vampires are undead. Yep, so he's doing that peanuts damage, and I will just attack him with my fire weapon. Oh, but the accuracy is going to be an issue here because I think their blind roll is based off charisma, so we're getting minus 50 bonus to hit most of the time when he lands the roll. Also, let's check Artix now. 84 SP. Ah, okay. So when you're fighting undead, he's way cheaper, not the paladin title itself. Good to know. But again, we're just going to be clicking attack. I think I should be okay to beat him, although the blind is a little scary. But I'm going to turn off the audio, speed it up for you, and if anything happens, I'll pop back in. Okay, and Vampire Vanquished, no problem, just took a while. But I did turn on the Golden Fury toggle, which, if you didn't know, makes the armor deal damage like it's an FO armor. Probably going to get a price cut in the future as well, because it went from FD to Warrior Lean, so anyways, not really important. But, as you can see, I can't finish the quest because I'm a human. My rule is, if I want to get a subrace, I have to first beat the Cure quest, and then I can pick a subrace. But at the moment, I can't beat the Cure. But I do have a plan to get around that. But we're going to join the werewolves. Now that well, that's a bug. But now that we've beaten the quest, I have no qualms about going into the shop. We could buy a lot of things. We could buy the Bright Wolf pet, which is, a normal light pet with a vampire trigger. Not really that good, but it's something. We could buy these werewolf armors, but again, I want to beat the Cure quest before I use a subrace. And now here is where you might see something beautiful. Here's some dual light. Now, I hate to be the one to tell you, but I am not going to be using a level 38 or a level 72 weapon in 2024. What we are going to be using, however, is the Lichen Slasher. Very rarely used weapon, but essentially what it does is it's a 20 proc, and if your HP or MP are below 80%, when it does the special, it will heal your HP or your MP, whichever depends on the threshold. It depends on if they're both below or one is below. But in general, this will be an HP sustained weapon, 20 proc. Now there are a lot of good light weapons. This isn't one of the best, but I think that this is going to be an efficient weapon for FD because it'll heal me, and I'll be able to use it in a lot of situations against a lot of dark monsters. So, we're locking it in. The Lichen Slasher. Here we go. Alright, and that's that. So next up is going to be something a little more complicated. We're going to be doing 2 quests, but only buying an item from one. So, why do you ask? Why might I do 2 quests for the price of 1? Well, the reason is very simple. You might remember this clip from the rules section last video.
First, I can't use NPC quests to just cheese the challenge. So where possible, I have to actually do the quest myself, select the fight as Alex options, or if that's not possible, I have to do a similarly difficult challenge.
And so what that is talking about is that if I'm going to get an item from an NPC quest, I have to do a similarly difficult challenge before I go and grab that item. So what I'm going to be doing is 2 quests from the Granemor Graveyard, Granemor Cemetary. Now specifically, and let me grab my notepad because I always mix up the names. What I'm going to be doing is let me just get my gear all set. Okay, should be good. Actually, we can use the Lichen Slasher now. I forgot I had it. Awesome. Okay. Wicked. But part of the reason that I got the golden set again was so I can fight Undead, and now we're going to be taking that golden set and fighting through 2 of the quests at the Granemor Cemetery, the Halenro statue, etc. So first, we're going to be doing, and let's see, the Thursday the 12th War. Now you might remember that. Oh, interesting. Healed my mana because the Banshee drained it. Anyways, not relevant. We're going to be doing the Thursday the 12th War. And you might not remember that quest too well, but there's a mini-boss, the Catcher. That's who was on the Go map earlier, the map I made out. But we're going to be fighting the Catcher and some other undead monsters along the way. And that quest will unlock the Catcher's Mask, Misk, which is a dark defensive Misk that gives 7 range defense. That Misk, respectfully, is kind of ass. Yeah, I don't know about this weapon. We'll see. We'll see. Draining mana, we'll see. But anyways, the Catcher's Mask Misk, not what I want to take in for my final loadout. But in the Artix Returns war, where you play as Artix, there is a similar dark defensive Misk. It's the old Bifont Snow Globe. It's like Discount or whatever. I don't remember the exact name. but it's a dark defensive misc which gives you increased damage and accuracy against undead monsters. That is something I'm much more interested in, and it's very low upkeep still, below 60 SP, so it should be a very efficient option for my setup. Once I have a dark defensive misc, that'll open the avenue to do some other quests, which I hope to show you either next episode or the episode after. But, just to summarize, the plan is, I want the old Befount Snow Globe, dark defensive misc, but it's an Artix NPC form quest. So instead, I'm going to do the Thursday the 12th war on my character, which is not an NPC quest, and then I'll use that completion to serve instead of the completion of the Artix Returns war. Make sense? Sound good? Okay. Hope it sounds good. Let me know if you think about that kind of trade-off. You just can't do the quest as someone who is an Artix, so I have to do something similar, and fighting about 4 undead and a boss seems like a pretty good way to do it, because it's pretty much the same type of quest. Okay, with all that being said, I'm going to speed up some of this footage until we get to the Thursday the 12th war. Okay, Thursday the 12th. Are we skipping the cutscene or not? Let's see. Hey Sonara, what brings you to Babylon? Bad news. Some of my people informed me that there's a rampaging horde of undead headed to Babylon. Wait, what? They're probably not going to wait. You know how undead ranting... Whoa. English. You know how rampaging hordes of undead are? No, but like, why? How? Can't say. They aren't very big on words. You okay? You don't seem to have a good grasp of this rampaging horde of undead concept. No, I'm good, but like, it's just been a while since we've had an undead war. I'll inform the Guardians. Hopefully we can get a good defense together before they arrived. Blah, 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 blah. I'll be honest. I'm skipping this cutscene. It's just Zorbeck. He's just hanging out. I could grab whatever's in this chest, but I don't actually know what it is, and I don't want to replace my Galen's Claw. So, let's just go to battle. I think most of these monsters should be pretty uninteresting, although the Spectre is actually a monster I'm going to talk about later on in the series when we go for an ice weapon, but that's probably pretty far away, being realistic. So yeah, I'll turn off the audio, speed up the clip with some music, and see you guys at the boss. Okay, so the big reveal, the joke Undead War is Zorbeck, blah blah blah. And I think this is all related to, this might be related to the Ley Lines Paladin and Necromancer quest thing, but I don't think so, since it's still the old Obsidia art. And this is the Thursday the 12th thing, so anyways, Friday the 13th joke, it's not that deep. It's a fun little quest. And here is the Catcher. So I actually don't remember what this guy does. I'm pretty sure he just, what the hell was that? Oh, that was my backlash attack from strength, or counter attack. So I turned Twilly off to save some animation time, but now I don't have to do that. What I'll do is I'll spend SP on Golden Fury because I don't have a guest right now. But yeah, should be a pretty simple fight. I think he does daze, but I'm not actually sure. I don't really remember. But either way, he's not a difficult fight. He doesn't hit that hard, and we should be okay. Yeah, so if he doesn't daze me in the next few turns, I'll speed up this clip and just, oh, there's that attack, that 5-hit attack, yeah. You know, I thought he did something. I thought he had some status effects, but maybe not. Okay, well, I will turn off the audio, speed up the clip, you know the drill. I'll see you at the end of the fight. Okay, I think that's the first kill I've gotten with the Counter-Strike effect. That's kind of fun. And there we go. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the Zorback lore. So before I leave this shop, I thought about buying the Unlucky Axe. It's essentially like an MC to damage weapon, but instead of having an MC, it loses 3 MRM, which like isn't that much of a penalty most of the time. Especially if I'm going to be running some FD armors, not all, but some. But I decided I can get something better. I'm not quite sure what I'll get yet, but something better than that. And then here is the Catcher's Mask. So again, ranged defense and dark defense. Not really what I want, but I consider this quest to be pretty equal difficulty to the Artix Returns quest. Of course, the Artix Returns quest has like a super strong boss, but you're in the Artix form, so like you can't even translate it too well. So, which button will get me back to the graveyard? Is it leave? Unnecessary character development? Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I think we should be good with the leave option. Yes, we go back to the statue, nice. And so we are going to be, and again I'll double check my notepad that I wrote to plan this out. The Artix Returns War. Yeah, the Return of Artix. Should be good. So all of this is Artix lore. And I'll be honest, I don't really care about it, 1. But 2, I want to know if you guys actually want to hear me reading out the quest dialogue and stuff, whether you enjoy that or don't enjoy that. So I'm going to skip it for now, and let me know in the comments of this video if you like it or not. That being said, I'll go right into the NPC questing and just spam through the dialogue. So I'll see you guys at the end of this. Peace. Okay, so here we are at the boss fight. This is the only fight in the quest that I'm not sure I'd be able to take on in my golden set. But again, that's because the boss is coded to, be difficult for Artix and not be difficult for the player. Like, he's hitting for like 300 plus, stun locking for... Wow, I guess I just got unlucky. That was only a 20% fear chance, but... Use the recovery spell. Oh. That did not heal anything. I should have drank. Yeah, thank goodness I got that lucky break. I would have been cooked. But yeah, as my memory suggested, you do need to chug potions for this boss. I'm not sure if something got updated since the quest came out, or if you always had to chug potions. Or if unsummoning the Daimyo guest to save time, did that somehow buff the monster? I don't think so, but you never know. But now he's out of mana, so he shouldn't stun lock anymore. So I think we should be good. Yeah, I think we should be okay to just finish him. But if I had to do this guy in the golden set, realistically, I would have needed a dark defensive misc, which would ruin the whole point of doing this quest for the dark defensive misc. Might have been possible with End's style bonus, actually, to cleanse the stuns. But the fear of getting stun locked into death would definitely make me a little bit hesitant to take on this quest if I had to do it in the normal armor, but you can't do it in the normal armor anyways, so. Yeah, and this is all about Artix lore, like he's regaining his paladin power, his redemption story and whatnot. I think LK rewrote part of it, but not all of it if I remember correctly. Although I'm not sure if all of it had to be rewritten or not, but anyways, not really too important. We have an awesome light 100 proc, but it's a ranged weapon. We have an awesome dark weapon, which has powers against, I think, ghosts, but it's a magic weapon. We have Graveyard Smash, which is a daze spell, I think. Magic, of course, MP cost. And we have the old Biffant Souvenir Snow Globe, which is again 56 SP. That's what I really like. I like those efficient cost defensive miscs. I think they're great. So let's, I think that's going to be it for this video because it's run a little bit long. And so as I get to the end of the video, what I will do is talk about what has happened this episode and what you haven't seen, which you might be curious about with the thumbnail. But let's go back to town, and we'll just open up Combat Practice Trainer and spam attack while I talk. So I think we made some pretty great progress this week, or this episode today. And yeah, stay to wage war against the undead armies. Doesn't tell you what it does at the pop-up. I'd have to go find an undead monster. But anyways, we made some progress. We got a weapon. We got a dark defensive misc. We did some... Shoot, was there anything else? Oh yeah, we got our healing pet as well. Retro Twilly, Lycan Slasher, and Old Biffant Souvenir Snow Globe. Not a huge amount of progress, but I also did some gold farming off screen. So I have enough to go and do like 3 or 4 quests, as long as the armors and stuff aren't super expensive. But you'll get to see the main problem that I'm currently running into. Retro Golden Armor is great because it lets me do undead quests. But the fact is that I looked in the options and I asked on the forums. Oh, and thank you to 2 players who helped me out. Very nice of you to put that information out there for me to help me find more quests to look into. But I couldn't find any quests that gave me great armors that I could do with only the undead resistance of the Retro Golden plate. So I have to get some armors another way, and the only thing I have is light defense, a dark misc, and neutral defense with an earth shield. Now I do have a plan, and I do have 2 plans actually, so the hope is to get 2 armors next episode. And as well, you might notice I didn't get any items recommended from the comments last video. Shout out Dizzle trying to get me killed on the quest for the Dragon Blade. Nice try, almost had me. No, but jokes aside, I am going to be getting one of those items in the next episode. Or maybe 2 if I can manage it, but I don't think I'll be able to. But next episode we're going to be getting 2 armors. One of them should be a big, should be very well enjoyed by you guys, I hope. The other one is going to be a little more surprising. And let's just say we might end the series with 4 light armors in our active inventory. We'll see what we can do. But it should be a funny little dynamic if it does happen that way. But with that being said, we're going to address the thumbnail. So how did I get killed by the stat revamp? Well, it's very simple. I was gold farming, and here's the clip. I was gold farming, and I was killing the armor golem, having a blast. I was watching a YouTube video or my friend playing Hell Let Loose on Discord. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I wasn't paying too much attention, and so I kept spamming the skill on the Legion monster after I killed the armor golem, because I wasn't paying attention. It was a skill issue. But what happened was the Legion monster bugged out when it got hit by my backlash or my counterattack effect, and it just kept attacking, and took me down to 0 HP. I stood there for a while. Maybe I'll show you the whole thing, maybe I won't, but it was like a good 3 minutes of attacking, and the turn just never ended. So I was 0 HP, I was effectively dead, but it just never ended the turn, so I couldn't actually die. So I closed the client. I think that's kind of funny that I got killed by a buff, and of course, makes a good YouTube title, realistically speaking. But do you guys think that should count as a real death? I think I gave myself 3 lives, kind of for this reason. I could have gone for 1 life, but I didn't want to get killed by a bug or an unknown interaction. So I'm not too bothered by counting that as one of my deaths. That's why I gave myself 3 lives. But I'll admit, it did happen again later, and I just closed the client before it could kill me. Is that cheating? I'm going to say it's not. I don't want to give 2 deaths to the same bug. But Anyways, so that's how I died. Bit of a bummer to lose the first life like that, but I also think it's fun to, it's funny to see like AQ doing AQ things and bugging out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode. Next episode, we're going to be getting 2 separate armors, if all goes well. And I'll see you guys then. Peace out, have a great day, and enjoy this inventory update outro.